This law that I'm about to sign, finally delivers on a promise that Washington has made for decades to the American people. I got here as a 29-year-old kid. We were promising to make sure that Medicare would have the power to negotiate lower drug prices back then. Prescription drug prices. But guess what? We're giving Medicare the power to negotiate those prices now on some drugs. This means seniors are going to pay less for the prescription drug.
Breaking news, billions of dollars has been allocated towards one of the relief programs, everybody, in the country. It's one of the biggest relief programs that you'll ever see. The IRS has already released new details on the next round of stimulus checks, and some people may receive larger and sometimes smaller payments than others. But now the IRS said this week that your refund for your tax year may be smaller in the past years. The agency told reporters that it's because of several recently passed bills to the tax code. Now the IRS said taxpayers who take that standard deduction instead of itemizing their taxes will just no longer be able to claim to deduct their charitable contributions. Joe Biden said that his American Rescue Plan lowered the reporting threshold for third-party networks that process payments for doing business. So, what this means in simple terms is that you should probably get a $2,000 per child tax credit for 2022, because Schumer is now planning to make several changes as the Senate Democratic leadership. We all know during the height of the crisis, a national stimulus program was put in place, but 2 years later, economists are still asking where's more money. According to a recent Bloomberg report, the U.S. Federal Reserve data showed that by the second quarter of the year, total cash on hand in American households set at $4.7 trillion. That's before the crisis in 2019. That number was just $1 trillion. The windfall of cash was likely caused by the trillion-dollar stimulus money payment allocated to Americans over the course of the last 2 years. The U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis already found that U.S. personal savings rate was 17% in 2020. That's the highest rate ever. And now stimulus checks significantly decreased under the number of children experiencing poverty across the country. The child tax credit expansion drove child poverty sharply downward in 2021. Combined with other relief efforts, the expansion helped lower child poverty by more than 40% between 2020 and 2021, reaching a record low of 5.2. So, the credit expansion, everybody, expired at the end of last year, and policy lawmakers can renew this successful poverty-fighting policy in the year end through the bipartisan tax bill. However, there is some pressure on Congress to just continue and expand the monthly child tax payments, especially as the holiday season is fast approaching. For instance, Chuck Schumer is asking to change up the Democratic leadership after Congress and Nancy Pelosi retires. Schumer is likely to promote some Democrats as the head of the Democrats, and Schumer is suggesting that Democrats eliminate the position of assistant leader. Based on proposals, Schumer plans to include leaders who land all across the ideological spectrum in this team. Chuck Schumer wants a new team of Democrats for a new stimulus bill. For instance, there is going to be more stimulus being approved. Teachers in the state of Arkansas will receive a one-time bonus check of $1,500 in time for this holiday season, and the bonuses are just designed to provide more relief to most teachers. Now, the $1,500 bonus checks were already approved in May by the school board on December 15th, and now teachers will just get a certified salary schedule, which will just raise their salary by $4,000, everybody, and that's a lot of free stimulus money.
Who's done more to push the issue of child care and get it done than the senior senator from the great state of Washington, and I thank her for that. I want to thank my colleagues, Senator Kaine and Senator Blumenthal, who have also been such strong leaders on this issue. And I am here to say that what they are saying, Senator Murray, Senator Blumenthal, Senator Kaine, is right. We need to do something in this country to lower child care costs and increase its availability. And I pledge to my colleagues and to the American people that I will keep working with Senator Murray until we get something done to increase access to high-quality child care for working families. We all know today families pay more for child care than at any point in American history. Amazingly, sometimes families have to pay more for child care than they would pay for a mortgage. It's out of reach. And some people forget how the world has changed. When I was a kid, my dad had this little junkie exterminating business. My mom was what was then called a housewife. I got home from school every day at 3 o'clock, and there was Mom with milk and cookies, asking me what homework I had. Oh, I don't have any homework, Mom. And told me what time I had to come back home from going out and playing in the schoolyard for dinner. That doesn't happen anymore. The vast majority of families in America are either single parent or two parents both. The percentage that have two
Yes, it is finally happening. Congress is passing a new stimulus bill very soon. Joe Manchin is now meeting with Republican lawmakers to gain their support on President Biden's spending bill. Now, many people will be receiving an $800 stimulus check very soon, so you want to continue watching this video to never miss out on the very important stimulus check information, and we have a ton of good news to cover. So the majority of people in Colorado are eligible to receive $400 to $800 stimulus checks from the state government due to the Taxpayer Bill of Rights passed in 1992. Most full-time residents have already taken in the necessary steps to get their check mailed to them this summer, filing their 2021 state income tax return. Any full-time resident who hasn't been filed can still claim and ensure they get a check by filing out a submitting form by May 31st. However, a lot of residents, including many veterans and seniors, do not regularly file state income tax returns, and they have questions regarding their eligibility. Folks, the answer is yes. You are still eligible to receive the $400 check for single filers and $800 for joint filers if you are a full-time resident. According to Colorado Governor Jared Polis, there are additional benefits to filing state and federal income tax returns, even if the taxpayer owes little to nothing. He said filing a return ensures that any excess withholding tax is refunded, and they may also be eligible for valuable refundable state and federal credits, like the Earned Income Credit and the Child Tax Credit. This is the same requirement for people in Colorado who claim and receive payments for the 6-tier flat sales tax refund mechanism that would normally refund the money at filing time next year. All eyes are on Joe Manchin as he moves forward with negotiations on President Biden's Build Back Better bill. Reporters have asked Senator Manchin and GOP senators about the claim in a new book that Manchin says he will be willing to switch to the Republican Party if Senate Republican John Thune were the Senate GOP leader instead of Mitch McConnell. Manchin told reporters today that Republican colleagues frequently ask him about switching parties and that he never seriously considered leaving the party. The banter between Manchin and his Republican colleagues is reinforcing doubts that he will not sign on any point this year to a partisan reconciliation package to enact major elements of Biden's domestic agenda, with 50 Democrat votes and no GOP votes. Democrats also have taken note that Manchin's opposition to various Democratic initiatives appears to be playing well back home. According to a report, Manchin's job approval rating in West Virginia has jumped by 17 points compared to a year ago. 57% of West Virginians now approve of Manchin's job performance, compared to only 40% after the first 3 months of 2021. According to Democrats' concerns, Manchin has convened a bipartisan group of senators in an attempt to pass a package of energy proposals that would also address climate change with 60 votes under regular order. It's a development for Democratic senators who hope a climate and renewable energy package will be a core piece of the budget reconciliation package. Now, the climate and energy piece of the reconciliation package is competing with what Manchin is trying to negotiate with a group of Republicans.